What would happen if all humans suddenly disappeared? With communities and settlements on every continent, man-made structures can be found anywhere, even in the most remote places. But what will remain if people become extinct? That's the question to which we seek an answer in today's episode. On a hillside somewhere in Italy, we discovered a microcosm where exactly this has already happened long ago. Man just vanished. From one day to the next, a public swimming pool became abandoned and has remained untouched ever since. Like a look in the crystal ball, this place could reveal what might be ahead of us. Let's explore and find out what a future without people would look like. If you are like us and gaze at such abandoned sites, you probably think about days gone by. It's nostalgia that overcomes us when we discover such buildings that have been lying idle for so long. But this time we don't want to look back, but ahead. Already reconquered by nature, we arrived at old structures that used to be a leisure center decades ago. If you find your way through the thick undergrowth and somehow make it inside, it's easy to think that a world without people must be empty. Like a desolate planet, only with crumbling houses everywhere. But a human-free world might actually be more alive than you would think. This is what the world after man looks like. As the planet recovers from man's supremacy, it's turning green. Again. When left alone, plants take over immediately. Life returns to places from which it was expelled. Structures that were once filled with people will become ruins with piles of shards. What we have built will rust, then crumble, and in the end fall apart. It is eerie to see the deserted pool, and yet it's a lost paradise. It isn't just greenery that has returned. There is more life here. But we can only hear it and not see it.
Wir versuchen hier die Frösche rauszulocken, mit mäßigem Erfolg.
Seems like some frogs responded to our mating calls after all. Apart from these frogs, it's only curious explorers who visit this place nowadays. But back in the day, this was a much frequented leisure complex. Families from all over the region came here, and many children learned how to swim right in this pool. Today, however, silence dominates. With some occasional croaks, of course. With the undergrowth getting thicker every year, it becomes harder and harder to imagine how families spend their time here together. After 40 years of being deserted, this swimming pool isn't a place of joy anymore, but a place of melancholy. This is a greenhouse of a different kind. In absence of man, plants flourish undisturbed. When people withdraw, nature can recover. There's also a second structure on the property. Apparently, it was never finished. It is just a shell construction. Maybe it was planned to build vacation homes. But instead, they went bankrupt. There weren't enough visitors to keep the business running. And so, this was all just abandoned. Many decades passed until a contractor came up with the idea to tear down everything and build a few mansions for a couple of millions. But the community stopped these plans fast, because this is an area of particular ecological and regional value. Instead, everything remained untouched and was left alone until today. This abandoned swimming pool is just a microcosm, but it shows perfectly that planet Earth thrives best when left alone. In a world without us, the human impacts won't last as long as you might think. At some point, our legacy will vanish actually. It's just a matter of time. And if we don't start to live in a healthy relationship with our planet, we'll only be temporary guests on this world. And what you can see in this video won't just be an exception anymore. Understanding this will help us understand ourselves and why we are here in the first place. In the final chapter of our Italy series, we won't take a look in the future, but in the past again. Our next video features the exploration of a real time capsule. Whoever was living in this grand villa just disappeared overnight and left everything behind. We'll find out the story of this forgotten home and show you how its wealthy residents were living back then. Even after all these years of vacancy, the manor is still full of splendor and pomp. Join us in the final of our Italy series and explore relics of the past in a world after man. These are some of the photos we shot during this exploration. We really love to see such post-apocalyptic-like worlds and always try to find more of these places. We pick our favorite shots from these sites and upload them to Instagram, Facebook, and also Flickr. If you want to see more of these images, just follow us on social media. You'll find the links in the video description down below. Today's video was sponsored by Skillshare. More and more often we got asked where and how we learn to film, edit, and photograph. Actually, the truth is, a lot of it we've taught ourselves, but often enough we wished we had an experienced teacher by our side. This was before we learned about Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people. Let's say you want to get better at storytelling or photography and filmmaking. No matter what you're interested in or what piques your curiosity, Skillshare has got you covered. In our case, for example, now more than ever, we are looking for any kind of resource to get us inspired for our upcoming video productions and to find some possibilities we maybe haven't considered before. For example, right now we are taking the advanced video editing class by Jordi van de Put. I'm sorry if I didn't get the name correct. Jordi is a fellow YouTuber with tons of creative ideas in film and editing. In his class, for example, we've learned a lot about sound design or color grading and have already integrated these new skills into our workflow. Here's your chance to try Skillshare in every class for free. The first 1,000 to click the link in the description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. And if you want to continue using Skillshare, you can do so for less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. So go ahead and explore your creativity with Skillshare. Our 2020 Italy road trip series is coming to an end. Let us know what your favorite episode was and why. Should we go back to Italy this summer for a third season? There's still so much left to explore. Massive shout out to our Patreon supporters who made last year's trip possible in the first place. Thank you. Stay curious, guys, and keep exploring.